Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another episode here of the Overwatch Watchers Brawl, as much as we can call it an episode, obviously. We have another few good matches for you tonight. You're going to be starting out with Revolution versus the New England Whalers. I am NF Class, and I'm joined by the wonderful, the oh-so-extravagant Shy Guy tonight. How are you doing?
Ooh, I am feeling extravagant right now. You know, it has been a long time since I've been able to be here for matches at the Watchers Brawl. Not been around so far this season, so I'm excited to get into it here tonight. I'm very pumped for the teams we've got on hand, and really looking forward to seeing the action.
Yeah, I mean, there's these teams have both shown quite a few things already. I mean, they've both played all their matches. Obviously, they're now in the lower bracket, but I mean, they might not even quote unquote deserve to be in the lower bracket. That's how well they've been playing. So I'm really curious to see what these teams are going to be doing. Yeah, I mean, what can you tell you a little bit about what Revolution New England Whalers have been doing lately?
Yeah, sure. I'll recap how we've kind of gotten to this point in the tournament so far. Revolution started off with a 3-0 in their first series before eventually falling into the losers bracket, as you mentioned, going down to Citizens, who are definitely one of the best teams that we have here in this tournament. I believe the winners of last season's Watchers Brawl. So no shame in losing there, and they even took 2 maps off of them. That's a very impressive showing, to be totally honest. And since then, it's been smooth sailing, a 3-0 over Waterloo to get us to this point. So they are very much a team to keep an eye out for as they make their run through this losers bracket, kind of try to fight their way back through this tournament.
Yeah, but I mean, so because I casted that one match that Revolution lost and got to lower bracket on, but that was a 6-map match. Well, 5.5. You want to call it. So they had 2 map wins, 1 draw, 2 losses, and they lost 1 control point on Busan. That's how close that game was. So if you could take the winners of the last Watchers Brawl that far and get into a map 6, which was the first time we've ever had that in this tournament format, that's pretty impressive. And yeah, I mean, New England Whalers, first game, down 2-0, came back with a 3-2. It just reverse swept that. Yes, they lost to Redacted, but we haven't seen Redacted play any other game, so we really don't know what their power level is as opposed to anyone. So this could be a really good match, but then again, like I said, we don't really know what their power difference is. All we know is we're going to be starting out on. It's going to be tonight. It's going to be Hollywood first map, so that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and this is exciting for me because both of these teams are pretty much completely new to me as a caster a little bit. I've never seen either of them play, and the only player I am actually personally aware of on either of these teams is Moose, the main support for Revolution, who the name that hasn't really been on my radar in a long time, but I know him from way back in the day. He used to be the coach of NRG a long time ago, back in 2016, maybe into 2017. Yeah. Very active in the early Overwatch scene. So I mean, it's incredibly exciting to actually get to see him here now as a player, and going on and trying to fight their way through the losers bracket.
Yeah, and those were the Hard Blue, Seagull, Ajax days. That was NRG at its when NRG was just making a name for themselves in Overwatch. So that was really exciting. They never really performed that well in most tournaments in the end. But, you know, still very exciting. And like you said, it's very good to see them here in the tournament and to see him come back. But yeah, I'm very excited just to get the action going. We're gonna be great on that one. But
which we're loading into Hollywood here now. And I did notice, I went back and watched a little bit of American or Revolution's VOD of their last game in this tournament, and you know they had a very good showing here on Hollywood, taking this map, of course. You know, playing mostly 3-3 on the defense, but breaking out some interesting compositions on their attack. With some DPS in the lineup, and obviously we've been seeing a lot more of that in general over the past few weeks as the meta has really started to open up.
Yeah, and not just that, right? It's just the meta has been opening up. We've seen it in Overwatch League, etc. But the meta has always been a little bit open when we come to these tier 3 teams or tier 3 plus, you know, whatever, depending on what you want to call it. Goats has never been the only default. It's because the level of coordination that you see in OWL, because the level of dedication and time they have to get that coordination going, is something you don't get as much here. There's not as many resources and not as much time commitment that's always possible. So there is more room for error and more room for alternatives that work just as well as Goats in a lot of situations. So I'm really excited to see what these teams are going to be doing.
For sure. For right now, though, it does appear that we're going to be getting 3-3 on both sides. The only difference, Momo picking up the Ana and then Honey Badger on the Xin. So by and large, very similar composition for both of these teams. But American Revolution coming out on the defense, or on the attack to start, or sorry, on the defense to get us kicked off.
This was the map that American Revolution drew versus Citizens, both having a full hold on Hollywood A, and you're looking immediately to see why they just jump down, smack someone out of their place. Holiday going to be demeched and de-lifed there. Very nicely done from Cedro and the rest of the team. Now they're going to have to still get in there, get them out of that cafe, and they're doing a good job getting Honey Badger already, so they're 2 members up, 3 members up, Sylph going down, and that looks like it's going to be clean up here.
Yeah, and the Whalers there seemed like they thought they could kind of turtle up in the cafe and perhaps wait for Holiday to get back into the fight from spawn, but they just didn't get the chance. Really great aggressive play coming out from Revolution to start things off. They get a huge ult economy lead off the back of that.
And that's all it's all about in that meta, right? You want those ultimates, and they're really doing a good job. But I'm curious, are they going to take a different approach here, do you think, on the side of New and Whalers?
It doesn't look like it. They still want to try to wrap around through the server room, but
Spades is ready. Boops a few apart, so Sylph already going down. Nice anti coming in as well, so it's going to be Lucid falling because of that. Honey Badger boosted, also falling, and Biz and Holiday. I mean, they're even going to be able to stagger out the Baby Diva here. This is brutal. It's already almost 2 minutes down by the time they're going to have another fight.
Yeah, they knew exactly what was coming. There was no change-up whatsoever coming through from the New England Whalers in that situation, and it just allows Spades to make the individual play, and all that Revolution has to use to win that fight is the rally, which is absolutely incredible.
This time they weren't quite ready on the high ground, but it doesn't really seem to matter. The charge comes in, Biz is already down, the anti-nade landed unboosted, so it's just going to be the retreat here for the New England Whalers. They thought they could save the Diva, but there was no save for her today.
Yeah, and that's just a fool's errand right there. Like, you think you could go in, but there's no way you can do anything really to save Holiday at that point. He's gonna get taken down. It's gonna happen late. You're better off just waiting for it to happen. And now look, Cedro lying in wait, ready to unleash the Earth Shatter. Are they gonna get caught out by this?
And they might, and they do. The Flying Shatter does come in from Cedro. Already gets 3 with the Nano on top of it. Spades chimes in, gets 2 of his own, and it's going to be Holiday falling late as well. This time, not so much of a stagger. I don't think they needed it. I mean, they still have a minute to defend, and they're looking good so far, although the ults are coming up.
Yeah, that's going to be the key here. This needs to be the fight for New England Whalers at this point. They've been absolutely shellacked so far. Haven't gotten a single elimination, I don't think. And you know, this is realistically going to be their last good shot.
Trying the same approach again, but Spades is there. The anti-nade once again falls in, and there is the grab onto the defense though. So Spades already falling, not able to withstand all that damage. Double support is being used, but it looks like it's likely going to be enough. Jay is almost down, but gets healed back up by the sound barrier and the healing nade. So it's going to be a relatively even fight still, just the D.Va missing for the defenders. But they're looking a little more solidified. No high ground advantage here. Looking really good for New England Whalers, but that nano charge onto Sylph, also boosted going down to Heike. They just smacked them back in the face. It wasn't enough, and there was just... What was happening there? Because it felt like they almost had it there.
They really did, and you know the big key there was, in my mind, Simu's coming in with a beautifully timed sound barrier. Most of his team was knocked down by a great Earth Shatter. They were vulnerable to a self-destruct that was coming in over the top, but that sound barrier keeps everyone alive, allows them time to back up. They build the nano boost just as they are getting the D.Va back into the fight. A huge pin coming through from Cedro turns that fight on its head, and that's kind of just on Whalers in my mind. They weren't able to secure any kills while they had that 5v6 advantage, and they just get repelled once the full defense is back and ready to go.
Yeah, do you feel that's a large thing that they're making like mistakes, or was that really just a very good heads-up play from Revolution?
It's a little bit of both there. I mean, I think Revolution played that about as well as you can in terms of using their support ultimates to sustain through that fight and just kind of backing off. They gave a lot of ground, but still, there's something when you knock down that many people with Lucid Science, with the Earth Shatter, there has to be some follow-up from the rest of the team there, and they just don't have it in time. They don't have the coordination to pull that one off, and it cost them here on Hollywood, where now, with their backs against the wall, they've got to come up with an insane hold just to tie this map.
I mean, it's possible, though. We've seen it happen to Revolution last time around when they played against Citizens. That was a full hold from both sides. So we're going to start up with a draw once again. Revolution might just feel like they're cursed on this map. Speeder are going to go out very aggressively. Holiday does get out alive here. Just safety. Bubble was there from Biz. But they're going to take the same angle of approach, and the same sort of defense comes in. But Revolution doesn't want to back up. They want to actually take this fight head on. Lucid Science is already down, so great start here for Revolution on the attack. Will they really get some more here? Because they're getting spread out on the side of the New England Whalers, and they're just run over. It's over. It's done. They're 4 down. Yes, they get 2 counter kills, but
doesn't matter.
You need a whole lot more. You need a whole lot more if you want to hold on to this point, because it's only a take, and there it is. Revolution taking the first map in a pretty convincing fashion, I'd say.
Yeah, that was very well done from Revolution. They kind of bait out the drop from the side of New England Whalers. You know, as they were rotating, they looked like they were going to go the full rotation around the back, come through the cafe, but in reality they were just using that to force them down from the high ground to take a fight on their own terms, and it works out beautifully for them. They win the neutral engagement pretty easily and pretty quickly, and you know, start things off on the right foot here on Hollywood.
Yeah, Revolution really looking like a unit here. There's nothing off about them, I feel. It's just they're looking so good. And it's not like New England Whalers aren't showing anything. I mean, they're definitely showing that they understand what their comp is about. They're not doing anything weird, ultimate or positioning-wise necessarily. But it's just that understanding of the deeper structure of that map that really comes through in Revolution's game. They really understand that high ground hold. They really understand how to play it, but also how to play against it. And it might just be the New England Whalers just kind of missing that last little push towards that link. Could also be that Revolution is just that good. So we're really gonna have to see what comes on in the other maps. What we usually say though is, oh, just the first map. We don't know, which has both to do with like the hero ban system here, but also that usually the first map, or often the first map, is a control map, and control maps are, well, you know, notoriously unpredictable and notoriously, well, you can't really say anything about the results of that. But this was Hollywood. It's a hybrid map, so a little more conclusion can be drawn from this, I feel.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was about as kind of definitive as you can get. Sure, we didn't really get to see Revolution on the attack for very long, so who's to say that, you know, New England Whalers couldn't have come up with some kind of better defense towards the end of that map. But that was pretty convincing and pretty one-sided, if I'm going to be completely honest. But now, as you said, we start to get into the phase of the game where those, you know, the map choices and map bans are going to come into effect, and perhaps more importantly, those hero bans will start to make their presence felt. Speaking of which, we're going to be headed to Anubis to kick things off, and this opens the door a little bit in my mind for some things to change composition-wise. You know, Hollywood, an incredible GOATS map, almost one of those maps where you see it pretty much like exclusively for the most part, with very little kind of deviation from that.
Though. I feel you see a lot of DPS attacks in Hollywood first, especially, who usually, in the end they will usually switch off towards GOATS, like either already on second or towards third. But yeah, it's been relatively GOATS heavy. That is something I will agree on. Lucia is going to be saved here. They're going to start on the defense Revolution side. A lot of conclusions we could draw from that, but I kind of want to see what New England Whalers are going to do. Yeah, if they're going to change anything up, they should be banning something that aids that.
Maybe
change.
A diva. I'm not entirely sure. That's one of the better things you can do if you want to.
Probably not.
I mean, I'm just spitballing here. You know, it's very hard. It would seem in my mind that that New England Whalers probably want to move away from the 3-3, considering how badly they kind of just got clapped on that composition. So you've got to do something. Lucio would be, in my mind, the best way you can do that, but of course that's not an option. That hero has been saved by Revolution. So, you know, we'll just have to see in a few moments what New England Whalers want to do to try to change things up.
Well, so my philosophy towards the ban system is always you can have like these two routes where you either say we want to try and disrupt their game, or you want to more enable your game, so not let them disrupt your game by banning a certain hero. So
that's
yes,
true.
They can disrupt the GOATS composition by saying, oh, we don't run, you can't run Diva or you can't run Zarya. But those heroes are usually not as detrimental to breaking something that isn't 3-3. Like, as in, a Diva doesn't necessarily break a bunker composition, for instance, or a Zarya. But, you know, because if you ban that Diva and then you run a bunker, then a Sombra is still playable, and, you know, stuff like that just happens. So the whole thing going on there would probably be that you say we do something that, you know, we ban something that would work very well against our comp, which is something like a Sombra. For instance. You could ban the Sombra saying, like, we can't run the Sombra, so running DPS comps, you will have to just purely out DPS us, and you don't have anything to disable any ability. And especially with like Baptiste, etc. in the meta, that could be a very strong ban. But looks like they want to go for the Ana ban here, which is also one that could work very well. We've seen it happen a lot, where you throw in those anti-nates over the over Arista shields and stuff like that, and if there's no Diva to eat them, or Diva's not paying attention, they can be detrimental. Same with sleep darts, to be honest.
For sure, and we saw that in full force on map 1. I mean, Momo was absolutely amazing, destroying them on their entries with those biotic grenades. Really, really well played there. So I understand, just based on what we've seen so far tonight, why New England would want to do that. Another thing is that, in my mind, Ana works really well if you want to run GOATS and you want to run 3-3, but you still want to have something kind of in your back pocket to perhaps deal with DPS comps coming out on the other side. This kind of forces you, if you want to run 3-3, you more or less have to run the Zenyatta. You could run the Moira, but that's not really optimal. And so I think it kind of locks you in. If you want to run 3-3, you don't have the Ana as an option. And obviously we saw Revolution was very good at doing that on the first map. So
yeah.
I'm excited to see how that will affect things here. It doesn't look like it's going to change up too much for Revolution, they are still rolling out with the 3-3, just going to have the Winston from Cedro rather than the Ryan this time around. Again, a little more versatility to start things off on the defense.
Yeah, I would have expected them to run the Ana on defense normally.
For sure.
And I think that's like the big deal. So we talked to Suppose not too long ago, after match interview. We asked him what's the thing that people are thinking Ana, especially on defense, because Ana is more versatile versus more things. If it's a goats matchup, Zenyatta is better, but anything else, you just want to be ready with an Ana. So. And the same thing sort of with Winston on defenses as well. So normally you'd see that come out, but now we see the Zenyatta because they can't pick the Ana. Siege already getting a little bit of poke damage there, not too much. We've seen weirder numbers, but the attackers are going to be ready, just running in with that straight 3-3 with the Zenyatta.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they probably have the compositional advantage, but can they come through with the execution to actually crack through this defense? Unlike on Hollywood where they got completely stonewalled, just rotating up to the high ground right now.
Yeah, well, it looks like they're not dropping down just yet, but they have taken that high ground control, which is very important, especially for heroes like Zenyatta to really abuse. But Honey Badger dropping down behind his team, essentially on the defender side of the point, which is now the attacker side, for some reason. But they're already taken a free tick. And it does look like Revolution is waiting for something. They're waiting for this Primal Rage from Cedar likely to come out. It does come out now, but he's already stunned. Lucid will go down here. That's a big pick already, that main tank being down. Honey Badger being booped around, bopped around. Will also follow the spades. And it just looks like Revolution is going to be able to clean this one up. And yeah, nice patience from them. They did lose over a tick though there.
Yeah, I think they're completely fine with that though. I mean, they don't have the comp to just rush in and brawl immediately in that neutral fight without the Reinhardt there. More than likely you're going to lose it out, so they just play it really, really slow. They know that Seeger is going to build up that Primal incredibly quickly, and that's the go signal for them. Now they've got more ultimates online for this next fight, so they're in a very good position moving forward.
Ultimate economy looks to be relatively even if this fight lasts for a little bit long. This could be interesting. The self-destruct comes in. They just get the 5k already. Holiday is going to be there. Is going to be staggered again. They don't have the charge and sleep guard this time, but they still have a stun. They still have a few other boop mechanics that can just stall out Holiday for a little bit longer. But yeah, Holiday is likely going to get burned down out of mech again. They're throwing the self-destruct though. They're likely going to... Ooh, I think they wanted to maybe engage. They were like, yes, we can just go on that and maybe get a kill out of it, but...
Yeah, the timing just wasn't quite there. They were a second too early. Like, if the self-destruct comes out like a second later, maybe they can engage immediately off of that and get a mech back. But as it is, they just waste the ult.
Yeah, they weren't ready. They do have a little bit of an ult advantage here. The Prime Rage is there, but Winston is just in that Graviton. Can't go anywhere. Shatter comes out, hits no one because of a nice bubble of Cedro. They do get the kill on the boosted Eagle. Simu's actually getting that first boop kill, and no kills coming out here still from New England Whalers. They use so many ultimates, nothing to show for it, and it's going to be Revolution. Just corralling them in that corner, doing the free damage. Just keep on booping them around. And Lucid will be the first to fall once again, Sylph to follow, and it looks like Revolution is just going to clean it up once again. And with only 50 seconds left, they just bought so much time. That was one fight.
And that was every ultimate from New England Whalers used in that fight, if we include the self-destruct that I guess came out in the one right before it. But the biggest problem for them is that they used both of their support ultimates at the same time, and neither of them was quick enough to save boosted Eagle.
It was just not enough, and now they're gonna take the same approach. He's gonna get put in the corner. Jai already with that nice Graviton, 3 down. Yes, Holiday gets the constellation kill to Jay, but will go down himself, and it's just over. I mean, 10 seconds. That's barely their respawn timers. I don't think Lucid will even make it to the point, even with that wrecking ball.
I mean, he has the speed to do it, but they're all over him. Nah, he's gonna be dead before he gets there.
Always too many stuns. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't die, but they had enough boops and stuns and movement abilities to just deny him that axes. Nicely done though. That's essentially full hold. I mean, 52% is not something we see being held on often.
That was brutal. I'm not gonna lie. That was one of the most one-sided rounds of Overwatch you're ever gonna see. Revolution just completely has their number right now. And yeah, I think this one's going to be over just as quick as Hollywood was, because they need they need a little bit more this time, 52% rather than just the single tick. But yeah, this is not pretty.
It will depend on what we see coming out from the Whalers, though. I mean, we've seen very, very impactful bunker holes coming out on maps like this. It's not as strong as it is on Paris. I mean, it's a little bit more possible to get around it, but they can definitely run something like it. And if they do, that could still pose a problem for getting that point percentage side of Revolution. I don't know, though. I mean, we'll see. We do see the Orisa, the Zenyatta, the Widowmaker, so they're definitely setting up for it, but it does look like they want to go for the Widowmaker. It's going to be triple tank. I don't exactly know what they're going to do. They're still a little bit in spawn.
Yeah, they're still trying to figure it out. I mean, Biz is out here. He's on the Widowmaker at this point.
Yeah,
and they're going to bring out
the
Sylph on the
Orisa.
This is interesting.
Mercy, and they're gonna run the triple tank, it seems. So they're gonna have Holiday on the D.Va again. It looks like a little bit unsure of what to do, though. They keep being very late with these discussion topics.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Biz is gonna have to pop off here. Like he's got to be the carry, especially against the quad DPS on the other side. If he's not winning the sniper battles, they're not gonna have a chance here.
He does have a shield to work with on the sniper battles, though, but it's going to be Spades is already looking for that Widow in the back line. Holiday does scout him out, though, so they're gonna be able to zone out the Sombra a little bit. But meanwhile, the front line is being pushed back. Lucid already dropped down to the low ground, is on the point now. Momo just jumps through the shield. They get the kill on Spades, which is a big deal. That will probably not be able to be rezzed up. They even get the halt hook onto Momo. They're actually looking pretty okay on the defense here so far. That first fight is not going to go into the favor of the attackers. So Revolution is going to go back to the drawing board a little bit here.
Hey, baby steps for the Whalers here. That's the first fight
they've
won all series.
Exactly.
First you'll win a fight, then maybe you'll win a map. We'll see. They've held off. You know, they've got the Valkyrie ready to go for this next fight. But a lot of stuff about to be online for Revolution, including Spades with the EMP.
Yeah, let's not forget they are the comeback kings of the tournament currently, coming back of a 2-0 deficit against the Romans' next god. So they're definitely ready for this. Loose signs will go down, though. I don't know if they can get that res. And Sylph is trying, but will just get blown up by Ike. So that's not going to happen. Jay already be taken down by Biz. Boosted does get the kill on the Simu, so no healing for the attackers. As I say that, I see that Momo's now on the Moira. They had their Transcendence, though, and they do lose Cedro, so there is a possibility here for a defense. Yeah, Roadhog, D.Va, and then Zenyatta. Not that much healing, but at least enough damage.
Oh my god.
Will also fall. Simus is just not able to do anything. Boosted Eager, Holiday, and Honey Badger just cleaning it up here for the defense. And
Honey Badger hard carried, saved that fight completely.
Ooh,
preempts the EMP with his Transcendence. You know, avoids getting hit by the Sombra ult, which would have taken away all his shields, made sure he went down, lets his team kind of regroup just a little bit in that moment, saves the day for them, and now we're down to a minute and a half.
These halt hooks have been on point from these guys. I don't know why they didn't do this on the first map, but I guess we know why. But hey, it's looking good so far. They're definitely on something here, onto something here.
Yeah, and Revolution now making swaps. You know, they're off the DPS comp.
The Moira dive 3-3. It's an interesting one. Biz is still coming back from spawn with the Pharah, though, but it looks like he will be there on time, though.
Yeah, a little early on that. Supercharger there, because they're just gonna wait it out. I mean, it buys them time, but they're not really getting any value out of this ult.
Less quite long though, so they still get the kill into Momo because of it. The damage boost was also there. Spades gets the kill on Honey Badger, but that will be able to be rezzed up. Spades will fall as a result. Yes, they lose Lucid Science, but they do have numbers. They do have the damage dealers. Spades is, as a baby Dave on the high ground, but will not be able to survive here. It looks like Revolution wants to just do a quick reset, but Spades is on the baby diva. Are they going to be able to get the stagger? They get the hook back. Spades already has the mech callback, though, so Creature's Call in does do that now, but it's just D-Max straight away again. That's so much ult charge given over to Boosted. This Boosted didn't have anything.
and they don't really have time to wait. They've got to go. Like, they've got 20 seconds. Oh, that self-destruct could be big. It's too far back.
It's not big enough, and Spades already takes down Honey Badger, who was not close enough to Transcendence to really matter. Oh, Elusive Science, Sylph, there's a barrage, but Biz is not able to get anything with that. And it looks like it's going to be Revolution just returning to a 3-3 composition and just taking it. But that was closer than it. That was closer than you maybe would have expected it to. So
yeah, and the big thing for me, it comes down to not even anything that really happened in this fight, but what happened in the previous fight, where Revolution was able to force out the Transcendence. Even in a losing fight, they got that Zenyatta ultimate out, and then as soon as Jay had that Graviton Surge ready to go, there was no answer for it on the side of New England Whalers. And they just couldn't sustain through the winning fight that they needed.
I don't know. It's an interesting series so far. I mean, we do see Revolution being still very, very dominant in a way, but you did see them being thrown a little bit for a loop there when New England Whalers did something else than played a 3-3. And that's something we've been seeing on multiple, levels of play. I mean, even in Overwatch League now, Florida Mayhem beats the Houston Outlaws, and then Valiant beats the Vancouver Titans. Houston Outlaw beats the San Francisco Shucks. So like the power level rankings are completely out of whack now for everyone. And that same thing kind of happened there. I mean, yes, they still broke it in the end because New England Whalers might also be a little bit new to playing that exact composition, but it was still a lot harder for Revolution than it was on Hollywood at least.
Oh, for sure. That was such a massive improvement from what we saw in Hollywood. And it makes me want to see more of that kind of stuff from the New England Whalers. Yes, it's not going to be kind of the best on every single point. But if you can, I think at this point they aren't able to really go toe-to-toe with Revolution when it comes to that 3-3. They can't play GOATs to the same level, it doesn't seem like, from what we've seen so far. So if they can throw those curveballs into there, it gives them a chance, and it very nearly won them a map that they really had no business winning. After their attack, like that should have been over and done, dusted, easy for Revolution, but they made a map out of it, and they made it close. So I'm very excited to see what they can bring for the rest of the series. But they've got to find some answers on the attack.
I mean, they do, but, they just banned another Assault map, even though Assault cannot be selected for this next game mode. Not a problem. If you still want to play more Assault, that's fine. And they're going to go over to... Let's see where they're going to go over to, because I would honestly, if I'm the New England Whalers, there's a lot of maps you could go to that could be very, a little bit more adventurous, so to speak. I mean, it's one of those things where if you have the choice between Kings Row and Numbani, if you don't want to play the straight 3-3 matchup, if you don't want to play a very standard game, don't go to Kings Row. You'd rather go to Numbani because that's a little bit more of a wacky map in some ways. It's those type of choices that teams have to make sometimes. And I think New England Whalers could very well go to something a little bit more wacky. And I think Ilios, which it doesn't seem like they want to select, is a little bit more of that wacky option.
Yeah, I mean, especially on something like we could very easily see a comp that features that Orisa Roadhog duo that was so deadly for them on that Anubis defense. So I like that pick in particular. The other two maps of Ilios, a little bit more standard, but, we could see Biz back on the Widowmaker. There's a lot of good options here. The Lucio save once again coming in for Revolution. That seems to be an important hero for them so far, and it makes sense. It's one of the most versatile that can go in kind of nearly any composition. He's a pretty detrimental hero to have on as well. I mean, I don't think New England Whalers would ever banned him on because it's so much fun to just put people in that pit. But I don't know. I mean, let's see what they're going to ban here, because I don't think they're going to go with the Ana ban again. It doesn't really make that much sense on a control map like this. Yeah, I don't think we would really see Ana on any of these points, at least to start out. If you're going to roll out with the GOATs on any of these 3 points on Ilios, I think you're probably going to be doing it with the Zenyatta, but the Winston ban is going to be coming through now.
I get that. I mean, Cedro was doing a lot of damage on that Winston, both on attack and on defense.
I really like that.
Plus, it's a very good counter against Bunker.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. If we see well on this map, you know, the answer that most teams go to when the bunker is on the other side, if they aren't breaking out of a kind of a mirror bunker of their own, is usually the Winston in some form, because it gives you a lot of mobility. You can engage quickly, you know, as the other team rotates around. We'll see if we even get there in the first place, because we are going to be kicking things off on Lighthouse.
We are, and Monkey not that popular over here, but a lot of things aren't popular. A lot of things are also popular. I mean, it's every map, and it's team preference in every single way. Yes, there is a meta. Yes, there's something you have to abide by, but that's not something that it's always necessarily true. So we're gonna see what happens here. I'm interested to see the Winston ban, because it's both on Ruins and on Well. Sorry, the other two stages. It could be very impactful, but in the grander scheme of things, it could also not matter. I mean, Wrecking Ball's still in the pool. If you have a good Wrecking Ball in your team, you could do a similar value. It's not exactly the same hero, obviously. It's not as much AoE damage, but at least in the primary fire, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I'm wondering right now if this might actually be real, what we are seeing from the Whalers at this point. The Orisa triple DPS. This is something that has become more popular. We don't really see a ton of this at like the highest level in Overwatch League. It gets broken out occasionally, and that's going to be the go-to here. And it can put a lot of pressure on the goats of Revolution.
Yeah, as a standard goes from Revolution, it depends on where they're going to set up, though, because if they don't set up correctly, they do choose to go to the high ground, which is smart.
They're just going to go to the point.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's good that New England Whalers is going to the high ground, because that's something they can't just get run over on by Revolution.
Yeah,
so the folks is going to come out. Boosted is going to run around. They already lost the barrier, so Cedros is going to go down because that barrier fell so quickly. Honey Badger gets the kill into Momo, so this is looking pretty good for the Whalers. Just they might lose a few percent here, but that's not really what they're going to be worried about if it's just going to be Space and Jay also falling.
Yeah, we'll see how quickly
they can Whalers.
Yeah, they're making something out of this, but they're starting to clear them off the point. They're starting to put pressure in, but the Reinhardt is back. Cedro is in the fight once again. He's hacked up though. He's down.
He is hacked up, and they're just gonna keep on doing the damage. There's the barrage. Clears up the last 3 or 4 members left. Yes, Seamoose Nut will also fall. That's just a clean team kill. And nicely done there for the Whalers. Yes, they lost a few percent, but they do force the switches coming out here. But they also force the switches coming out. That's a big deal for the olds.
Yeah, and Jay gonna be the one to make that swap. Going over to the McCree here, wants to put some pressure on boosted E-Girl specifically, but they've made the rotation. You know, they're back up on the high ground for the most part. Are the Whalers just the Orisa on the point?
Nice concussion rocket from Boosted. He's denying them that high ground presence, so Jay doesn't get as much room to fire from. It's still on that bridge, but you know, kind of needs the shield there. That increased fire rate could be very dangerous though. Like, I'm really interested to see if Boosted will actually be able to live here, but it's already taking nice angles. So the first kill is gonna be on Haikyuu from Boosted. Gets so much of that damage boost, and it just the damage is just there. And then they're trying to fight on the point. They're trying to do something here, but it's only the Zarya, Reinhardt, and the Lucio. Momo not joining in the fight though, so that could be more important. But with the EMP coming out, that should be a one fight here for New England Whalers.
There we go. They'll get the cleanup here. And you know, they have to commit the EMP to do it, but you know, very, very worth it in that situation. I really like one thing that Whalers are doing right now is they're using Lucid Science's the halt almost as like a mini graviton surge. It helped in the last fight to get value out of Biz's Dragon Strike. They used it in the first fight for the rocket barrage from boosted E-Girl. So they're getting a lot of value out of that, even without the hook from the Roadhog.
The DPS ultimate's already there. Comes the Dragon already. Goes straight through the point. We're not getting any kills, and Jay is actually cleaning up here. Both Holiday and Biz are already down. Boosted tries to get a barrage up, will just get slept and taken up by Jay as well. Jay already on 3 in this fight, and the rest won't even be able to come out. That's a clean sweep here. Where are their cleaning tools? Because I don't see any of them, and they just sweep the floor up pretty nice.
Well, I mean, if you don't have a broom, I guess a sniper rifle will do the job in a pinch, because Jay absolutely pops off there. Gets the last one courtesy of a nice sleep dart coming through from Momo. But now New England needs just one fight here to take this first map on Ilios.
I guess that's why we see them go over to the standard 3-3. They're just going to take the heads on because they know that Jay is not going to be doing much on that Widowmaker. Both him and Momo now on that high ground position, shooting at Sylph. Actually, a nice shatter coming in here from Cedro. So it looks like they're going to be able to defend because Jay is just picking them off from the side once again. And they just weren't able to get into the position where Jay and Momo couldn't do much.
Yeah, and I actually think this is going to give Jay enough time to go back to spawn. Yes, it is. He's going to go swap over to the Zarya once again, and, get back into the 3-3 where, frankly, Revolution has excelled all night. And they've been looking incredibly solid. They've got some ultimates built up here. This is going to be a very close fight in terms of punching power for both of these teams.
Cedar was back late though, so don't have the ideal position maybe, but the Nano is already there. The kill from the self-destruct off the Spades, which was nicely placed here. The charge from Cedar doesn't get much, but I don't think it really needs to because they already had that kill. The Shatter also misses, but once again, Lucid already down, so they have the main tech advantage. But who's going to get the kills here? Because the rally from Boosted could really put some salt into the dinner here of Revolution, and it is Cedro that will go down. Yes, Boosted also falls, but the main tank battles is actually in the favor of New England Whalers now because here is Lucid. The graph comes in, the self-destruct comes in, the Shatter follows because there's no main tank. It looks like it's going to be New England Whalers finally getting this cleanup in the fight, looking so good. They really took that one back. And such a good...
Cedro is here, but I don't think he's going to be able to get to the point. Not going to happen. And Lighthouse goes over to the New England Whalers. They break out the triple DPS look to start things off, and it works perfectly for them. Yes, they play things to a razor's edge there at the very end, almost losing that final fight, but are able to sustain out, get Lucid Science back into the fray just in time. And very well played by them. Now they get to go over to Well, which is, I think, kind of tailor-made for how they're playing right now.
Yeah, we have seen Lucid Science going down early in fights a lot, though. Is that just Revolution doing a very good job of focusing the main tank, or is there just a different priority that New England Whalers is putting on where they want to put their resource?
I think it's a little bit of both. In this case in particular, it was just because he didn't turn his shield towards the self-destruct. He had some other things taking his attention at the time, but that was what cost him there in the end. So now both teams here on Well going to be breaking out the Orisa.
The Roderick is there for boosted though. Jay is on the McCree, probably expecting maybe more DPS to come out, but that wasn't the case. And it looks like there's going to be a little bit more pressure here from the side of the New England Whalers. Position is a little bit interesting for both teams, but both halts not really getting much. The hook, though, from Boosted gets the hook on the Spades, but Spades has boosters, will just be able to get out of there. Dug himself out of that with a nice rocket power. Momo does get a nice right click onto Honey Badger, so a little bit of advantage here for New England for Revolution, but they still need to hold on. And I think with Biz getting that kill, that really sort of cements it in the favor of Revolution. So New England Whalers going to be backing up a little bit, taking that safe approach, not wanting to get staggered anymore, and Revolution taking the point first.
Yeah, and Revolution really just kind of went all in on the shield break there, taking down the shield from Lucid Science and then trusting the rest of their team to secure kills while it was down. They pick off Honey Badger to kick things off, and now it becomes hard for
the hook on Momo! That was such a nice combo. They finally get the target they want, and missing that Zenyatta misses so much damage potential from that from the Discord Orb. They really are ready now. They have the Immortality Field if they need it, even from the new Biz Baptiste here. There is the bongos even from Lucid Science here. Yes, Soundberry comes out, but the Halt gets nothing from Cedro again. It will actually go down here. It's going to be Honey Badger taking that kill. Yes, still false, but the Sound Barrier might not even be needed this fight. Biz, a little bit of it at a different angle though, being taken out, and even Boosted falling here. That looked like it was going to go in New England's favor, and even use their Transcendence now. They might still be able to take it, but it's looking harder and harder as we go on here.
Yeah, especially with the tanks about to be back from the side of Revolution. They're at the very least going to be able to stall things out for a while. The Transcendence doesn't do a whole lot for them, but that bomb might.
It doesn't quite get to the point, but it gets them closer and closer to the last percent that they needed. There is finally their sound barrier, which they hadn't used yet. So they're a little bit in that support advantage here. But meanwhile, the Deadeye's out. Jay doesn't get anything with that because, of course, that Cloudly Immortality Field is there. There is the damage boost, though, from the Baptiste ult. Both the self-destruct and boosted falling into the well, and I think you'd rather have a hero than have a self-destructing mech on your team. So this is looking a little bit better for Revolution now, but still, they still need to keep getting the kills. They are controlling the point, though. They don't care. This fight can go on for another 10%. They don't mind it. But it's gonna be a close one, and I hope that they're able to flip it for the Whalers, because this has been an exciting point here.
Yeah, I don't know how either of these teams are ever actually going to clear the other one off of the point. It hasn't happened so far this entire point, other than the very first fight.
I lose it,
but that might do it.
I mean, that should do it because now they have no shield, but Simu's also falling. So we're only going to go for a boop there. But that halt doesn't get enough here, so they have another Baptiste ult. So much healing being done. The Rodok ult just gets the shield down, and Cedro is not going to be able to put another one up fast enough, so we'll just go down to the right clicks of Honey Badger. And now it's actually going to be looking good for the Whalers. They might be able to take this point here.
Yeah, another Deadeye coming out from Jay, not going to get anything. They still haven't been able to secure the kills to clear anyone off the point just yet. Spades buying so much time for his team, but slowly but surely the Whalers are going to be able to do it. Yeah, it doesn't really do a whole lot for you at a certain point. You're already in overtime, and they do finally get it. That was one of the longest fights I have ever seen. That lasted from like 30% all the way up to 99 and well into overtime.
Lucid will be taxied back from spawn on the Orisa. I think he'll make it in time. Yeah, he probably will. But that is a risky move, so it's nice that they acknowledge that they could make it. On the other side, we now see Heike go over to the Rodok as well. So it'll be the triple tank versus the triple tank. Only real difference is going to be the Baptiste versus the McCree. The Baptiste has been doing so much healing, and those immortality fields and those ultimates have really been big.
Yeah, they're just going to melt the shield, though. And the bomb over the top is going to force into an awkward position.
Biz! No! Biz gets booped in because of the combination of the self-destruct follow-up and the flashbang. It just falls into the well. It's going to be Revolution just in one clean sweep, taking out everything on the side of New England Whalers. Holiday will not be able to get back, and that's going to be tied up on Ilios here. Gonna go to the last point of Ruins, and that's going to be an interesting one.
It definitely is. I'm now very curious what the Whalers are going to break out here. They've gone with the Orisa to kick things off on both of these points, but this one not quite so favorable for that kind of style here. It's been their best look all night long, is having Orisa surrounded by other pieces, and it looks like they're going to go back to it here. How much value are they going to be able to get out of this, especially against the GOATs of Revolution, who can kind of bully them off the point in my mind?
5, 4.
It's all going to be about the value that the DPS can get, because yes, Revolution can bully them on the point, but there's a lot of open space here through which DPS can do a lot more damage than they could on a Lighthouse. So boosted, Holiday, Biz, this is your time. There's a reason why Biz is on the Widowmaker this time, not on the Sombra. So let's see if they may be switching something up if they see the composition come out.
Yeah, they're gonna go.
Revolution is
interesting. This is a comp I have never seen in my life before, so I don't have a whole lot to say about it. Wrecking Ball Diva for the tanks and J on the Sombra, gonna be looking for hacks onto those DPS.
Look, the closest resemblance is like a Sombra Goats, but that's not even close to what it actually is. They do get a nice sleep on the J, but they're still having to defend against a lot of DPS coming in here from Revolution. And yeah, Holidays gets caught out, split up from the team, taken out, and now they're being attacked from so many angles that they're not able to do much. Honey Badger's on the roll though, got the kill onto Heike, also the sleep onto Cedro. With Boosted going down, I think they're not going to be able to push this one for much longer.
No, and even with the better position that the Whalers had in the beginning there on the point after the swaps from Revolution, they still come in, they get the first capture. And now things get very tough for the Whalers here.
Heike swapped over to the Tracer, which is a very interesting pick, but there's already the Coalescence. They do get the Nano out onto the Orisa, but is this not enough when there's already 3 heroes down to your team, including both of your supports?
Yeah, well,
Clean sweep? No, yeah, Lucid also go down. That's all 6. So regroup and then play for New England Whalers.
And they've got to find some answers here, and they're just going to go over to Sombra Goats now, which, you know, I think is a decent option against what Revolution are running. But is there enough time? You've already given up 50%, and this is a tough...
Oh, the MP is big, combined with the mines as well. That means that they will not be able to just walk anywhere. Sylph is going to go down together with Boosted, and Lucid also falling to Jay. Biz, yeah, that's just a nice cleanup. Yes, Holiday gets the kill into Momo, but that's often not everything you need. Cedric's going to go back to spawn, though, and we're switching up to the Reinhardt here.
Yeah, and that makes a whole lot of sense here. They can kind of hot switch almost into something resembling Sombra Goats. Heike's still stuck on this Tracer because he did not go down in that last fight. But otherwise, they've got at least they're one swap away from something that is a bit more traditional.
Yeah, the fight's going to be taking place at the point now, so a little bit more space given here. Two Winged Whalers. Southern Circle will come in, will actually claim the life of Biz because of a nice charge from Cedro. So they follow up with their sound barrier. They'll be able to clean everything up here. And it looks like this is going to be the last fight and the series going over to Revolution. Nice showing from the New Winged Whalers. It's a shame they're eliminated, but, you know, they definitely showed that they had some promise here, and they were willing to adapt here and there.
For sure. They really impressed me with what they were able to do on both of these last two maps, really making things interesting with, you know, enforcing Revolution to adapt. That's, you know, in my mind, the biggest takeaway from this last map here on Ilios is that once we got over to Lighthouse, once the Revolution kind of knew what to expect, they made some really intelligent swaps. Going over to the Sombra worked very well. The Wrecking Ball, it was kind of an out their compositional choice, but it worked wonders for them, and they come away with the victory. They continue their march through the losers bracket and towards, you know, kind of a little bit of redemption here.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to, you know, the lower bracket run. I expected Revolution to do well tonight, obviously, because they played so closely against Citizens, and, you know, it could have really been anyone here in this lower bracket right now. But I'm happy to see them. What we have, though, for you, though, Shy Guys, a nice treat. We have a player here that you can ask every question you've had about this.
That is correct. Jay, welcome.
Hello, my friends. How are you?
We're doing wonderful because y'all just gave us some really entertaining Overwatch.
Thank you.
Those last couple of maps in particular were just a treat to watch. So, you know, the first question I have for you is this: is that composition that you guys rolled out with on Ilios Ruins, the Wrecking Ball, Diva, you know, triple support, and then you on the Sombra, is that something that you guys have practiced in the past, or was that kind of a hot switch based on what the Whalers were throwing at you?
So our Lucio player Simu's actually kind of papegged a little bit, and he called the wrong comp, but we kind of went for it anyway. we usually run the Winston Diva with that, but he called ball, and it just kind of worked out because we just followed the call. So no, we don't practice that actually.
Well, it worked out pretty well for you. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you.
So my next question is this: you know, was there ever a moment on Anubis in particular that you guys got a little bit nervous? You know, I think after the defense you were fully comfortable with how that map was going, but it got a little bit shaky towards the end of the attack.
We definitely were kind of like a little bit shaky on it, but I think if we just said like we're gonna build up old shit like that, we're gonna be fine. We were attempting to put Cedro, our main tank, back on the Widow. We know our man pops off on that hero, so I think we were fine for the most part, but a little bit of shakiness. Once I got the grab, I knew it was kind of over.
Yeah. So how much practice do you guys have at, you know, dealing with a composition like that with the triple DPS Orisa? It's something that's kind of been on the rise as of late. But, you know, how new is that to you guys as a team? Phase
1 is our regular scrim partner, actually. for most days that we scrim, and they're super fucking frustrating to play against. Oh, I can't swear. I'll not be PG-13. Sorry about that. But they're super frustrating to play against because they're so good. But Phase 1 is kind of the best at it so far right now, and we practice against them a lot. Really, the most success we found with it is either doing double sniper or a Doomfist Sombra, and just putting me on Widow and trying to find picks and shit like that. Like when we rolled out on Ilios Lighthouse and stuff, we saw that comp, and I was just like, I'ma go Widow. And then we did Baby Bay Goats with like Goats and Widowmaker, and then I got a couple kills here and there, and I was just like, yeah, this works. This works.
For sure. You know, speaking of Phase 1, you could potentially be seeing them in the next round. That of course means that they would have to lose their next matchup, but you know, definitely could be seeing them later on in this tournament, especially if you guys are able to continue your run through the losers bracket. So is there, my question is this: is there anyone in particular that you want to see? Maybe Phase 1, maybe a rematch against Citizens, the team that sent you down here in the first place?
Oh, we scrim a lot against Citizens. We scrim a lot against Phase 1. They're really great guys. So I don't think there's really like a vengeance or anything, but I think it would be really fun to play Phase 1 in tournament, just because I think we're like, can't wait for them to ram us in tournament. I'll be honest. They're great and I love them, but like, man, they are fucking good. Oh, PG-13. I'm sorry. Damn.
We'll work on it for the next time that we're gonna have you on, because I'm sure we might be seeing you guys again later on in this tournament. I have a feeling that you guys aren't gonna be going out anytime soon. You looked very, very strong today. Congratulations on the win. And thank you so much for joining us.
And thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
If you got any shout outs, now is the time to do it.
Shout outs. Yo, shout outs to my teammates, everybody who's supporting us, stuff like that on American Revolution. Shout outs to my Destiny raid boys. That's how we build synergy within the team, honestly. We're out here raiding every Saturday night. Hey, if anybody wants to raid with us, open offer. You know, we'll come and play. But that's about it.
All right. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us for the interview. That's going to do it for us right now, but we will be back very shortly in just a little over an hour, actually, for the second matchup of the night. We've got Roman's Next Gods going up against the Feeding Troughs. So be sure to catch us on the other side of this break.
All right. Thank you, guys.